What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuff71, aka Digadulamite,
Purple bling bling, yo.
and your auditory canals are tuned into episode 245 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. And as usual, I am not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, got my partners in crime. First on deck, we got Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Lover
That's me.
or Hater.
It depends on the day.
Depends on the day. AKA the Cat Daddy, AKA that gamer stepdaddy. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, not much. Always happy to be recording another episode of Gaming Vessels with you two fantastic guys. So thank you so much to everyone who is tuning in and, is enjoying us. Thank you so much.
Indeed. And of course, our show is a no-go without Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Pretty much I was maximizing my dollars, but I wasn't doing it with games today. I went down to the Fashion Fair Mall. I was looking at caps, ball caps. So.
Oh, wow. I know you love them.
You know it. I was at the, you know what you love it. You know, the lid store in the mall, at your local mall near you. But they had baseball caps on clearance for $10, and I always have the pick of the litter because my head is bigger than big. I got a size 8 cap, so it's like I got a big ass head, and so because I have a big ass head, they stock all these size 8 caps, and they have no one to sell them to. They sell them to me on clearance, so it's like over here, So.
Yep, you're like eating good with your big old head.
Yeah, them big old boll weevil head. Yep, you know it.
Big old. So. What is it? What is it? Big old savings.
Yep. So I do like baseball, and I do like to collect a cap or two. I love my Braves, but I do get some other teams. Granted, the teams that the Braves are like close or battle with often, like in the same division, I would not wear that hat for the life of me, even if it was the coolest hat ever or anything like that. So I would.
You have some standards, huh?
I do have some standards, yeah. I'm not that much of a hat slut that I'm going to be wearing a rival team's hat just because it looks cool. So
That's pretty good.
But okay. I did wind up finding at the lids earlier in the week because I was on the hunt in Japan for some Nippon Baseball League caps in my size, and they actually happened to have a Henshin Tigers cap in stock in my size, so I bought that up with the quickness last weekend. So,
oh, that's cool.
So that's cool. Cool that they stocked that, because it's like I wasn't able to find it in Japan because I am, I don't want to say most Japanese people don't have size 8 heads, but I didn't see them available at the baseball game when we went, so.
There's either enough of them or enough gaijins coming by to keep a few in stock.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It makes it
I
worth
was on Amazon,
while.
and I did see that they had caps in my size on Amazon Japan, but I wound up I looked, and the delivery time, the date would have been later than our stay in Tokyo. So had I been on the ball and maybe looked it up at the beginning of the trip or something, I might have been able to score a couple of ball caps in my size. But
well, as usual, our first topic on this episode's docket is going to be the playlist. So I think last time we kicked things off with Jabroni Chief. Let's kick things off with the Bay Area Terror. Dez, what you been playing?
What have I been playing? To be completely honest, I've only really been playing one game. I know I said I was going to do a little bit more with my Switch games, and it's funny. I found 2 other Switch box sets that I got that were. So I went ahead and I put in all of my Switch games into my collection, and all the Ultraman stuff, I figured out where it needs to go. And then some of the boxes got misplaced, and so I found that I had two other games that I didn't realize. Like, I bought the Japanese version of Cuphead, which is, has everything in it. So, and another game, Morian Forest, which came with the statue. So I was like, oh crap. So again, I got Switch games coming out of my ears, and I love it. So, but for me, the game that I've been playing is Immortals of Avium. I really enjoyed this game. I'm really enjoying it. It's not bad. Is it perfect? Is it great? By no means is it a perfect game. It has its faults, but I'm really enjoying the Magic take on first person shooters. I thought it was very elegant in its design and how it changed, and the reason why. Like, you have your standard sniper scope, you have your SMG, and you have your shotgun. But even in those, you have three different variants that you can pick. So your blue or your single shot, you can actually have a burst or semi-automatic. Your shotgun can either be a widespread or a short spread. So even in the magic types or the sigils, the things on your arms that you wear, there's variation depending on what you like, which I thought was cool. There's a bit more customization than I expected, and then you can craft your sigils and you can upgrade your sigils. So there's a lot of crafting aspects into it as well. Plus, there's a little bit of stuff around your what would it be called? Your armor, where you can have rings and then gauntlets. But there's no other armor in the game, and I thought that was just enough to make it feel like, cool. I'm really like doing something. And it just feels, really good. So yeah, I've really been enjoying the game. Again, the story itself is, it's kind of inconsequential, of what's going on. You have a war. You have to fight in the war. You have to stop the war. And you're a triarch, so people think that you're super cool, and you can do multiple magics because most people can only use one type of magic. But I've really been enjoying it, and the art, the I guess the graphics aren't that bad. Like, people were saying, like, oh, it's a bad game, or oh, it's this, or oh, it's that. I actually really, really like it. I'm thinking that the art style is actually kind of nice, and I've gotten, I guess I could say I've gotten used to it. I guess that's what we could say about it. So
if you had to put a price on it, how much would you be, given how much you played, how much would you be willing to pay for that game and consider yourself satisfied?
About $50. I think a solid $49.99 would have been the base price for this game, and I think it was a hard sell given it's a new IP. I thought people were thinking that how you use your magic and how you like the gun type of aspect of it was like a gimmick, and so I just think people weren't sold on it. And then you have to add in the feeling of how it what's the word? The feeling of the how the graphics were, and how some people, are graphic snobs, and they're saying, oh, it looks terrible and blah blah blah. I didn't think it looked bad at all. I think it looks fine. But again, I am not a high res enthusiast. If the game plays well and looks good, I'm gonna play it. And this one does. So I'm enjoying it. But again, you can take that with a grain of salt. I am the guy whose game of the year game was Mass Effect 4 or Mass Effect Andromeda. So, you can take what I say with a grain of salt. But if you want a solid game that you can play, and has a somewhat interesting and compelling story that moves quickly, and you get to feel like a badass, then yeah, I think this is definitely a game that you should at least try, especially if you have PSN and you have it for free. Definitely try it. I don't think that you would be doing yourself a disservice if you did. So especially if you like the first thing is like if you're a first person shooter person and you like first person shooters, I think this game really, really took that and ran with it and made it really, really fun. And I think people just, again, thought it was a gimmick and didn't realize that there's a lot more depth that you could add, and not even talking about the talent trees. And so you can actually make your guns, do different things, and the side spells and your cataclysm spells and all this other stuff. It's a little bit deeper than just a first person shooter with magic. I think this game got a bad rap. I really do. And I think people were just polarized by how it looked and the graphics, and they just kind of like wrote it off completely. And I think that's a shame. I think that's a real shame, because I think nowadays, especially in video games, is a little bit more critical than people are a little bit more critical than they need to be. So.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle that seems to be repeating itself constantly.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I really thought it was pretty good. So if you want a game that's not going to ask too much of you and is actually pretty good, I would definitely say check out Immortals of Avium. You can probably beat it in a week if you're diligent, and probably less than that. But I really enjoyed it. So. Yeah, that's what I've been playing. So I'm going to kick it over to Kev. Kev, what have you been playing, buddy?
So I've been playing some of the usual, of course, Helldivers 2. Mm-hmm. I have acquired the portable shield, the electronic shield that everyone seems to claim is telling me is the meta. I'm not so sure. Maybe I'm just a bad player, and I just need to rethink my core loadout. But honestly, I think the laser rover is a better backpack. What would you call it? Auxiliary attachment than the portable shield. I really do. That rover, I mean, of course, the rover does damage to everything. The laser doesn't overheat, but it's also an early warning that lets you know when enemies are sneaking up on you. Because I've been playing on the challenging, what they call challenging level. I think there's 2 more difficulty levels above that, and the rover. On that level, the rover can detect the stalkers. Those dudes that go into think they're the predator, and they come up and sneak up. I don't know if you guys have fought them yet, because I don't know what level you're fighting.
They're the ones that can like camouflage, right?
Right.
Yeah, we fought those. They are a pain.
Yeah. Well, the rover can see them.
Oh, well,
and that's great. Because they will approach initially uncloaked. Now the rover may not be able to see them when they're cloaked, but when they initially approach you, they are cloaked, and then they are uncloaked, and then they go cloaked. And if once they get into range of the rover, it'll start blasting them. So that's your early warning that, hey, you got enemies on your 6, so you might want to turn around and address that. I find that far more helpful than having the shield. Now, I'm not saying the shield is bad. It is good. But when you're getting mauled, the shield only withstands like maybe 1 hit from what do they call those? Because all I've been fighting is bugs. I haven't really been messing with the automatons lately. What do they call that?
The rammer, the ones that chase you down, or the blight bugs?
No, that's the charger. It's not the charger. I mean, you can survive a charger attack, but your shield will be down. There's another one, I forget, they call it the Knight or the something. It's the one with the big, looks like the Queen Alien crown on its head.
Oh, I
Um,
haven't fought one of those yet. Ooh.
okay, that one, it can withstand like 2 hits from it. And when you're fighting the bugs, you're just constantly getting swarmed. So
Hmm.
I feel that the Rover does a better job. But of course, still playing Helldivers 2, having a great experience with that. Still stacking hours and trying to. So my goal is to eventually to be able to solo Helldivers level on that game. And
Wow.
yeah, that's just kind of like my own personal thing because, like I said, I don't play with randos in that game. It's just been too bad of an experience. But the other game I've been playing has been the focal point of much controversy over the past couple of weeks is Stellar Blade.
Stella Booty.
Stellar Blade. I am going to cut to the chase of this and simply say, if you like action games, particularly if you're more Souls oriented in your action games, buy this. Just go and buy it. It is a fantastic action adventure, Souls inspired video game. Now, my own personal preference is I like the Devil May Cry style of action games. I like the total combo customization. I like the quick pace, the almost button mashy feel that Devil May Cry has. So if I had to, and that's not even a doc, that's just personal preference.
Mhm.
But Stella Blade is absolutely fantastic. I, I don't know if they don't really have levels. They just tell you what new zone you're coming into. Um, I've I just completed the library. That's all I'll say. I don't want to say anything that could be a spoiler with regards to the story. I made it to the library. I'll just leave it at that. And I've actually passed the library into the next zone. I have not come in contact with other humans yet. I've just been finding their bodies and collecting their memories. The skill tree is well thought out. One thing that you're going to want to do is early on is boost your dodge, particularly your just dodge, because the frames on it raw when you start, it's just too precise. So when you get the ability, the perk that makes it easier to just dodge, and that's where the bullet time thing comes in because she'll do like the slow motion dodge. The environment will go kind of dark, and you can follow that up with counterattacks. Definitely want to increase that or make that easier to do because as is it's very hit and miss, and I think that was done purposefully to make you kind of like to force you to explore the options in the tree. So definitely want to do that. The other thing you're going to want to upgrade is your parry, your perfect parry. The perfect parry is not necessarily hard to do, but I think it's just like it's kind of like an added buffer that gives you a few more frames to do the input to get that perfect parry. And what's so dope about that is that the perfect parry also has counter offensives that you can execute. Like if you perfect parry an enemy and you hold the square button, she will teleport behind them and do this hard slash at their back. And if you purchase the perk that allows for the follow through, she'll do, and you hit the triangle after after you blink behind them, then she'll do like a crushing back attack that takes off like it takes off damage. If it hits a shield, it'll break the shield. It's very definitely worthwhile in that. I mean, this game is beautiful. It is a graphical. I look at it as a graphical tour de force. Uh, Eve is I think Eve is a likable character in and of how she's interacted with the world around her thus far. She hasn't come in contact with any humans yet, as far as I've played. The only other human, and I'm not sure if he's a human or a cyborg, is Adam, who rescued her. For those of you who played the demo, at the completion of that, so it's really this game. This game is freaking amazing. There are some puzzles, but if you do a thorough search of the surrounding environment, you will find either the pass key, because everything is a pass key that you have to enter the passcode in to pass through and get into the next zone. But if you do a fairly thorough search of the close environment to wherever that locked door is, my experience thus far has been it's not an issue of finding the keys and finding the codes to get past the locked areas. So the game is really thought out. It doesn't take you out of the action too much, but the action does come at you at a steady, unpredictable pace, because this game this game takes a bite out of oh gosh, what's the name of that game? Dead Space, with jump scares. And I've never played an action game with jump scares in it before, but it's absolutely fantastic. What happens is, if you're approaching a blind corner, sometimes there will be an enemy, say behind an object or behind something that you can't see it. But what you can do, since you have the Adam's drone with you, you can do periodic scans of your environment. And if there is an enemy hiding behind an object that once you get to it is going to be a blind, kind of like a blind corner, you're prepared and you know where that the enemy's there, and you can either approach them from another angle, or you can just go ahead and walk through there normally, but just be prepared to a perfect parry and counter them and, hack them to bits. The game is just fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. It is a lot of fun, particularly if you are a fan of Souls-inspired games. So if you're one who loves Sekiro like I did, or Wolong like I did, I think you'll find a great home at Stellar Blade. It's a lot of fun. I guess there's been a lot of kerfuffle about some suits and the changing, like, censorship of bloodletting when you're fighting enemies. I played the game before the latest patch, and I played it after the game was patched. You can opt out of the upgrade, I think. So I think my PlayStation was in rest mode at the time that the upgrade happened, because they have put the New Game Plus behind the upgrade. So all the censored suits that everybody has got their panties in a bunch about. And by the way, I've seen those suits. They're bikini out, kind of like bikini inspired outfits. And the only thing they did was they put like skin tight, like what do they call those?
Like lace or mesh or something.
Not even that. It's like what you see people and women who exercise will have them. They're like almost like yoga pants.
Oh, the
but
sweatpants, yeah.
yeah, but they're cut off, so they're more like Daisy Dukes. And they gave her like literally like a lace brassiere that's covered by the outer bathing suit. Honestly, I think that looks sexier than the one that she had before. I mean, I hate using the term sexy on a digital woman that doesn't exist. I mean, even though it was based off a real person, but the kerfuffle about this nonsense is that particular case is absolutely ridiculous. People just big mad over, well, Sony forced them to bend the knee to censorship, and we need to. I mean, there's some dude who hasn't been relevant in the gaming space for a decade or more is like rallying around this, free Stella Blade from PlayStation persecution and censorship so we can get the game we were promised. And they also claim that the blood was toned down a little bit. What was toned down with the blood is that in the demo, if I'm remembering correctly, heart attacks in which your enemies bled out, the blood would get on you. Post patch, the blood doesn't get on you.
Or it does, but not as much as it used to.
Not as much, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is what y'all mad at. I don't get it. Now, I love me a bloody game. The bloodier, the better. These enemies are still getting hacked to pieces. You're still dismembering enemies. Blood is still falling all over the place. You're just not getting as much of it on the character as it was in the demo. Much ado about nothing. I don't understand. Because I come from, and I'll just say this and I'll move on. Two things can be true at the same time. And opposing opinions of a given issue can have credible points at the same time. Are women being uglified by Western developers? Yes, I think that's obvious. Are things being done to change legacy characters, race swaps, gender swaps, and stuff that messes with the lore? Yes, that's true. But on the other side, does some consulting firm dictate every pace, every step, every word that comes out of every character in these games? No. That's not how that works either. And does any of that shit affect the gameplay? No. So Stella Blade's outfit has a couple more pieces added to it. Does it change the gameplay? No, it doesn't. Does it change her visual appeal? No, it doesn't. Is there a little bit less blood that gets on her? Yeah. Does it change anything about the game? No. And I think this game is wound up being kind of on the sacrificial altar of this gaming culture war that's going on right now, unfairly so. And I think both sides are using it, and I'm afraid that because you can't tell me that this game is only scoring 80 or an 81 on Metacritic. It's much higher than that. It should be at least. I personally would say 90 from what I've played thus far. And again, I'm giving impressions. I'm not giving a review. From what I've played so far has been about a 90, but this game is scoring at 79, 78, 81. No, and it's people on both sides that are pushing their narratives and making this game suffer because you've got knuckle draggers who on both sides of the fence who are just so devoted to their perspective that they can't even judge the game on the quality of the game itself. And I think that pisses me off the most about what's going on in this game. So I'll leave it there. And I think the last game that I've been playing, aside from Stellar Blade, has been a Dragon's Dogma 2. Have not made a whole lot of progress. I'm trying to build up my gold. So I'm still in that area. I'm still getting bullied by that damn griffin. And it you know, it is what it is. I just go around, kill some wolves, kill some goblins, kill some harpies, and I go back in and waiting for the day to change so I can continue the main story. I have to meet somebody at a bar during evening hours when they get off work. So that is where I am in the main storyline. But I'm still having fun, still enjoying the game.
Even though that griffin's taking your lunch, huh?
No, he's not. He's not. Like I said, he's not hard. The only
I
time
know, he just keeps popping up.
yeah, the only time he's killed me is when I was trying to revive my pawn, but it's just like he's just in the way. And just when you think you sneak by, somebody in a hut or somebody comes running out of their little house, screaming, yelling. Somebody throws a torch at it and then puts it all into a tizzy. So, but Dragon's Dogma is, like I said last episode, it's the GTA in a medieval fantasy world because random ish just continues to go down. That is in many times hilarious. So.
I forgot to let you know, but I know GameStop's taking $45 in trade on that Dragon's Dogma this weekend. So I'm not sure if you're like on the fence or not.
No, I'm not selling it. No, I like it.
Right.
I want to finish the game. So I'm not. I have no plans on trading it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just remember you being frustrated last week. So.
It wasn't frustrating. It was just the game. It's just the pacing, because you don't feel like you are key to resolving this land's issues like you were in the first game.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but that's all I've been playing. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Jabroni Chief. What you been up to, bro?
Well, since we recorded the last episode 244, we did that Monday night, and so basically since then, I really haven't played anything besides Tiny Tina Wonderlands on there. I'm still progressing in the story. I'm doing the main story arc and then also doing some side missions on the game and whatnot. So a lot of the side missions are kind of, they're fun, you know. So I was taking time, I think, on Wednesday and Thursday to bring up some maps to look up all the dice locations. So I was kind of doing some min-maxing and kind of relaxing, playing the game at the same time. So I want to get into some other games. I've been going through the games just like Dez that we bought in Japan. And so I was looking at a lot of my PlayStation, PS4, PS5 items on there. I know I discovered another game that Super Robot Wars V that does not have English support. Even though the Switch version has support, it does not have any English support. So obviously, sometimes, you're just kind of in a frenzy and you're just taking risks, and there you go. So one thing that both Kev and Des knew about when we were recording the last episode is that I have procured a copy of Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and so I've been meaning, I have it installed. I've been meaning to give her a go. Remember how bad our impressions were of the closed beta, in which we had to hold back our opinions of until Warner Bros. Decided, hey, we want to get some good buzz for this game because all the press has been bad, and then we just simply toward a new butthole. But out of the three of us, I think I was the less inclined to say it was just total and complete trash, because I'm still pining that it has some sort of Crackdown vibes. And so I'll definitely on episode 246 I'll have some first all impressions about the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and we'll see if both Dez and Kev can hold back their laughter
No, I ain't gonna laugh.
And or AKA disgust. As far as,
Hey, if you find fun, frolicking, in the Suicide Squad land, then by all means, sir, you have at it.
oh, thank you. Thank you
I,
so much.
I ain't pocket watching nobody. It's
Yeah.
your money. You spend it how you want to.
Oh, he remember he got it from the library. Oh, Lefty
Yeah,
Brown.
Yeah. That's
your
right.
property taxes are paying for my rental of this game,
Yes.
Kev. So thank you so much.
Yeah. So hey, whether you like it or not, it doesn't cost
Although
a
I
penny.
personally wish you'd make better decisions, but
Again, it's his time.
It is
So
what it
I mean, if
You know,
if he gets to it, So I can't wait until next episode when I say, "So Joe, what have you been playing? How's that Suicide Squad going?" I haven't played it yet. Really?
No. I am going to play Suicide Squad. I'm going to play the new season, the Exo Primal, so I can give my overall.
Ooh, you're taking a double hit. Damn,
Man.
double whammy. Okay.
Yep.
Man.
You got it.
Damn. All right, Joe. Work it out, sir.
I'm gonna get some variety. Add some variety. I want to see. I'm gonna give some impressions of what's considered turds, and let's see if I can make them into,
impressions of some of the worst games to come out this year.
I wanna. Hey, I'm here for it. I wanna hear what you have to say about it, my friend.
Yeah, I am kind of curious about that too. Kind of like when you're passing an accident on the freeway. How bad was it?
Yeah, I did pick up Stellar Blade as well, so I have it installed. I just haven't had the opportunity. Sitting there, going here, there, and everywhere today. So
I will be picking it up as well, and I'll have a review. Not my review, but just my impressions as well about it to see how it is. I think it's going to be a little bit more forgiving than a traditional Souls-like. So I think I'm going to be okay with playing it and not be completely destroyed.
Yeah.
By it. So we'll see.
But that's it for me this past week. So have you been able to check out any of the Evo Japan stuff yet, Kev?
I haven't. I've been so busy running errands today. So our finals start tomorrow, or was this like the last day of pools?
No, I think it's I got notifications day 2, so.
Okay, so they got another day of. Okay, so finals are going to be decided tomorrow.
Yeah, probably in the morning.
And then in the morning,
the time difference. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I have not. So I probably sometime today, since I do have time, I need to check out and see what's been going on, see how people have been faring.
Yeah, if your listeners are interested too, there's been some good impressions of the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves demo because they have that out on the floor. So
yeah, they do have that. Yeah, I am so happy that. Oh, I want that game to be good so bad because that is like the definitive fighting game for me personally. The first Mark of the Wolves, well, the Fatal Fury series in general, but particularly Mark of the Wolves. So I really want that game to come together just sublimely. So it's glad that it's getting positive impressions from the demo that they showed there.
Yeah, it seems
awesome.
like right now as we speak, as we record, the top 3 for the King of Fighters 15 finals are going on right now. So
okay,
awesome.
All right, so that's going to move us to our next topic on the docket, and that's going to be our listeners' response to our question of the week, which we call the Vessel Line. All right, Des, you got the mic, bro.
Alrighty. So the main event question that we asked our listeners and that we answered on last episode. So if you want to hear our takes on this question, please go back and listen to that episode. The question was, which gaming generation was your favorite? And we used a Wikipedia Wikipedia entry in order to show what those generations are. And you can go to our Discord if you want to get in on the conversation as well. And we can definitely, put yours in on the next episode if you have anything you'd like to add. So it was so let us know your generation that rocked your gaming world, and we'll discuss it on the next podcast. So we got 2 responses. Fantastic. Goonie comes in and says sixth generation easily. Not only does it have what is currently the best-selling console of all time in the PS2, there are no weak consoles on that list. We saw Sega's last console, which truly deserved better, but it could not make up for the company's prior mistakes. Microsoft stepped into the gaming industry looking to make a strong statement with the Xbox. Finally, the GameCube was unfairly written off as the kiddie console, quote unquote, quote, console at the time, but time and hindsight has given the console the love it deserves. The games from that generation, GTA San Andreas and Vice City, Crazy Taxi, Shenmue, Shadow of the Colossus, Resident Evil 4, Soul Calibur 1 and 2, Halo, Tony Hawk 2, Jet Set Radio, Skies of Arcadia, Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, Final Fantasy 9 and 10, Metroid Prime, Wind Waker, Animal Crossing, God of War, Ninja Gaiden, Knights of the Old Republic, fantastic game, Street Fighter, Third Strike, Splinter Cell, Fable, Morrowind, Twilight Princess. These are all the games that, took his lunch money when he was a kid, because poor Goonie could not afford lunch because he was saving it all to play all these games on all these systems. So thank you so much, Goonie, for coming in and giving us your opinion. Next up, John BT says, while the second generation got me into gaming with Atari and Intellivision, and I discovered RPGs in third gen, I think fourth gen was my favorite for a long time due to how much I loved all 3 systems, the Genesis, Super Nintendo, and my beloved TurboGrafx 16. Damn, I love that system, and especially how I was the only one I knew with one. See, you had that bragging rights, huh? I see how it is. You must not have known Joe at the time, since Joe probably had one. But the 5th generation brought the Saturn and PS1 and my all-time favorite game, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Such a great era. I also think the current generation is one of the best ever. PS5 has been the first time I've really gotten into console multiplayer, and also the games are just amazing with banger after banger. The only issue is there is really only one system doing anything compared to those earlier generations when I felt I truly needed all of the systems. I think that's a really good place to kind of like, I really thought about that. In the earlier generations, I did feel like I really, and I know need is a strong word, but I really felt like, if I was gonna, enjoy gaming, I needed these consoles. And it seems like in the newer generation, or the newer, quote unquote meta, I guess I'll say, it doesn't really feel like you need all the systems anymore. Like hindsight being 2020, I probably wouldn't have bought the Xbox S. Like even after getting it to play the Bethesda games and the Obsidian games, I just don't feel like it's giving me that bang for my buck. And I know this is going to be shocking for a lot of you, even the Switch. Like, I really like Nintendo and I like the Switch and I love what they're doing, but at the same time, it's like, come on, join us in the 20th century. Sorry, join us in the 21st century, Nintendo. Damn. So for me, yeah, I really feel that unless Xbox and Nintendo come out with the hotness in this next generation or half generation or whatever they're calling it, I think I just have to make mine PlayStation and just be done with it. So having said that, I want to open up to Joe with what I just said and what John BT said at the end. Do you really feel that you still need all the systems? And I know that you are a diehard gamer from birth, till death. But given where these consoles and these generations are going, do you think you truly need all of the systems right now?
No.
Oh wow, okay. Because we haven't even talked about the Steam Deck, because that's a system in itself. Even though people don't want to say that, it's a gaming marketplace. But no, they released a system. That is a system that you can play those games on. So But yeah, I want to know why, Joe? Why would you say such a thing, my friend? What's going
It's
on?
because of the fact that, especially with multiplats and everything, that especially with Microsoft releasing a lot of their titles on PlayStation now, that the walled garden's not necessarily walled anymore. And so, unless Microsoft kind of reiterates the Xbox to become like a Windows slash Xbox slash, multi-purpose machine, I don't see the need, especially if they're going to port their games over to other platforms, even to have a second platform to be able to benefit from Game Pass and whatnot. I've already kind of said my piece. We did our month of Xbox. Um, literally, I should just have a PlayStation in my entertainment center, maybe a Switch, and leave it at that. And so, I'm hoping that Microsoft has more compelling reasons in the future, but it's just not where my bread is buttered right now. It's like Hellblade 2 is not like exciting me. I think Hi-Fi Rush looks kind of cool. I might check it out on PlayStation if need be. I do have access to it on Game Pass if need be. But I can't really think of anything else that besides checking out some like Xbox 360 games on the Series X, or doing some emulation. But I could do emulation on the Windows PC. I could do emulation on my Steam Deck too. So it's I think all three of us, can collectively probably say that the Xbox Series is kind of a swing and a miss on there. It's kind of like how Sega, they were so awesome with the Saturn, and tried to be so, that much better with the Dreamcast, but because of the fact of where they're standing in the market is, if Microsoft didn't have the money that they have, as far as with their other, obviously interest out there between AI and Windows and cloud servers and whatnot, that they probably would have pulled out a while ago. So, so it just depends. But I just, and plus too, I'm, a man in my 50s. I only have so much time to game. I buy more games than what I could actually play, and so. I see for the future that probably a PlayStation PC combo with a Switch maybe to add into the mix is going to be that sweet spot. So I know some gamers out there have decided just to go with one platform. I know Alberto, sticks with his Steam Deck and PC for the most part. And you could even see the handwriting on the wall with like the integration of PlayStation trophies with Ghost of Tsushima. Coming out on PC, that there's a point in time where Sony's going to see the investment to be able to get that money back from all those development costs and do day and date on PC. I'm not making another stake bet. I can tell you that right now. So, those odds are definitely more skewed in Kev's favor as far as the whole purpose of Sony going day and date on PC. So.
That's funny. He said, "No, thank you."
I still need to collect on my teppanyaki.
Oh, you're talking about, sir. What bad?
Of course, I've never bought your burger, so
Yeah, we'll get it at some point. So same question, Kev. What are your thoughts?
So I agree 100% with that, but again, it goes back to the foundations of home console gaming. Each console brought something unique to the table. And if you were fortunate enough to be in a position where you could afford more than one platform, you were eating great. If you wanted, like I said last episode, if you wanted original, more complicated games, you had an Intellivision. If you wanted just sheer breadth of available content, you had a VCS, Atari VCS. And if you were a diehard arcade rat, you had to have a ColecoVision, because nobody was doing arcade ports on a console better than ColecoVision was. People I keep hearing people saying, "Oh, well, if you played this particular game and that particular game and no, it wasn't even close, bro. even if if it wasn't an original Coleco title that was translated from the arcades, Congo Bongo on the ColecoVision, although not arcade perfect, way better than the other versions that came out. Now you might have seen a change in that when the some of the gaming oriented computers came out, like the VIC-20, Commodore 64, Amiga started coming out with some stuff. But again, that's on PC, higher access. Although wasn't the VIC-20 kind of like a bargain basement PC
VIC-20 came
in
out in the
price?
early 80s, so
60 or the Commodore 64.
the Commodore released the VIC-20 in 80, 81. Commodore 64 came out like after
that. Okay.
And then the Amiga came out like in 87, 86.
Okay.
So it was quite pricey at the time. So
yeah.
The other competitors would be the Atari 800, if you remember that.
400, I remember 800, yeah.
And
they had very good versions of Centipede and Millipede for those computers.
Yeah. I actually had the Atari 800, so I went that route versus buying a Commodore 64. And then at the time too, there was, if you remember, the Texas Instruments, like I think I forgot the number designation. It's like a TI, like 90 something, 91, 94, I think, or something like that. And the Apple IIe, which I only played at school, So.
Yeah, I had an Apple IIe at home where I had access to one. My dad used it for his home business. But yeah, playing Karateka on that, playing summer games. It was some of the, even though we had the green and black monitor and not a color one, it was leaps and bounds above what was going on even on the ColecoVision at the time. But every platform brought something unique to the table. So if you were compelled, if you were in a position where you could afford it, and you were I gotta have Zaxxon, I gotta have Buck Rogers, Super Buck Rogers, I've gotta have whatever, then you knew what platform you had to go to. And each one planted a flag saying, this is what I'm bringing to the table. You're not going to get anything similar to this on any other platform. And that's the thing that I miss. Nowadays, I think, and I'll say this, with Xbox floundering in the console space, Nintendo, I know they're not going to do it. Nintendo has an opportunity to bring a high definition console set-top box to the industry, because they've just been sitting on money since they've always been sitting on money because their consoles have always sold well, their games have always sold well, but they're still sitting on Wii money. And they're sitting, that war chest has grown, after the Switch came out and people buying multiple Switches and of course all their great games. Nintendo has an opportunity in the console space to come out with a set-top box that can compete in power with the PlayStation 5 and or the PS5 Pro or the any PlayStation 6 to play in that space. There is now an opportunity for them to do that because of Microsoft's floundering. And I would love to see them do that. I would love to actually have to, when I go to Best Buy or I walk into GameStop and it's time to buy a third-party game, really kind of force me to pause. Do I want to get this on PS5 or PS6? Or do I want to get this on Nintendo's next-gen console? Because, I like having that debate, that inner conflict of where I'm going to put my money, where I feel that my money is going to get the most bang for its buck, because I grew up in that era where that stuff was just ingrained in how the platforms launched. And I truly miss that. And I would really love to see Nintendo do something. I know they're not, but I would love to see
Unfortunately.
it.
Yeah, I would love to see it as well. So thank you so much, Goonie and John BT, for coming in and answering that question and giving us your feedback. Uh, I think it's really cool to see where we come from. And if you notice, the generations are definitely getting smaller and smaller as new innovations come in, and as people come in and fall out of the gaming space. So I'm really interested to see what's next. Because like Joe and Kev and me, we're lifelong gamers, so we will definitely be here in order to see what happens. So I hope you guys can be there with us. So stay tuned for our next episode, in which we'll have um, another main event question. And yeah, if you want to answer this one, or if you came late to the party and you want to give your feedback or answer the question, please feel free. We will definitely talk about it next episode as well. We always want to hear from our listeners, and if you want to know how to do that, stay till the end, and Kev will let you know how you can join our Discord and do that. But you know what follows me? It's the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right. Thank you for that, Des.
You're welcome, Joe.
Okay. First thing I want to talk about, there's some new patents filed by Sony on here, so I want to get your guys' take on this. This kind of stirred because this was based on something that Will D posted in our Discord on there, and he had a definitely thumbs down about this. So basically I went and looked as far as what this patent was, as far as what they filed, and they actually have 3 new patents, because Sony is always trying to patent some stuff and getting some, quote unquote innovation. So the first patent has to do, and it's titled according to the patent that was applied for, method and system for auto-playing portions of a video game. So they're working on a patent basically that will allow you the game for an AI to handle the quote unquote anticipated grinding content of a title. So Sony mentions that it would simulate the gameplay style of users to grind through tedious portions of a game. This is already used in many MMORPG mobile and PC titles, where you could leave it up to the game to do the combat and walking to quests part for you. So they basically have filed a patent saying that the autoplay feature would use AI and trained models to decide what to do in place of users. And when the game is then grinding for players, they can continue autoplaying or take control at any point. The patent argues that gamers may find some portions of a game quite repetitive, which can kill interest. By using the discussed option, players could easily skip to the fun and save time for more activities. So they even showed like a diagram as far as how autoplay mode would work once this patent is in place. I know Sony has been dabbling at least for this a little bit, especially in the UI where you could give like an option in the PlayStation 5 OS to be able to give control of your game over to another player that's online to be able to go ahead and play a portion of a game for you, just in case if you're having any issues. So what's your guys' overall opinion of this? I don't see this something I would use that often. I don't like the fact, I don't know about AI playing portions of a game for me. I mean, if I'm having to grind and I don't want to grind through it, I might just not play the game to begin with, or to stop playing the game. But I know, imagine you, Kev, using this to play Monster Hunter World and, play through the guided lands or something if you're trying to get a particular part or something. So I don't know if that would be something that you would
This is like, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
This is what's wrong with gaming. Part of what's wrong with gaming. This is the equivalent of going to a 5-star Michelin chef accredited restaurant and ordering pre-chewed food. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. I mean, okay, and I'm in full agreement with John BT and his thumbs
Will D.
down. Will D. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm in full agreement with him. This is dumb. What they should call it is gaming journalist review mode. That's what they should call this, because these people don't know how to play games. I mean, it's been demonstrated time and time and time again, either bringing personal narratives and agendas into their review, or just plain and simply just having no interest in whatever title that they're talking about. That's what they should call this. This is the pre-chewed food gaming journalist mode. That's what they should call it, because this is just dumb. If you don't like the game, don't play it. Am I just not seeing the level of? It's like it's almost as if corporations are treating us like we have no sentience of ourselves. Meaning, okay, a game is announced. I hear about it. I look at the trailer to see if it's something that I'm interested in. I've been doing this same process since I've been gaming and have had access to either magazines or the internet. And I can make a judgment based off the type of games that I personally enjoy. I'm able to make an educated hypothesis as to whether or not I'm going to enjoy said new game coming out. Why the hell do I need an AI to play parts of a game for me that I find grindy or difficult or whatever? If I find it that grindy or difficult or whatever, I'm taking the game back. I'm not going to go to an AI and say, you know what, this game is dog shit. Please play it for me so I can at least finish it. I'm not going to do that.
I kind of see where if you're looking for a particular drop and you don't want to grind, I could see where this might work. But only in those instances, if you're...
and you got to think about, possible accessibility type of stuff. This stuff might be good for people who have accessibility issues. So I can understand some of the reasoning behind it, but at the end of the day, it's just something that is like they already said, it's something that is already in games now, like auto battlers and stuff like that. They're already a part of various different online games, multiplayer games, phone apps, app games, and stuff like that. I think what Sony's trying to do is to jump the gun to make sure that if this becomes a widespread use case, they will be on the forefront of being able to monetize it and or capitalize on it. I think that's more so what is happening with this, because I can't see it doing like super well. Like I just can't, like it in my mind's eye. I'm trying to think about a case where anyone would prefer to have an AI do it. Maybe if you're running to something, but they have had auto run before in regular games. So having a full on AI, I don't know. That just seems like AI autoplay on a $60 game or $70 game just seems like a no-brainer. I buy the game because I want to play the game. Why would I want it to play itself? Like, it doesn't seem like that's a good use of my money if the game can just play itself,
Then go to Netflix and rent a movie. Because
Yeah.
that's what you're in essence doing.
Yeah.
If this
Yeah.
is the state of modern gamers today, man, we're weak as all get out. We are weak. We are pathetic. It's one thing. I'm okay. I'm gonna use myself as the example again. To 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and I come home and I dedicate as much time as I can to being a good husband and running a home-based business. My free time to game has gone from a couple hours, 3, 4, 5 hours every day if I want to zip point crap. All right. Nothing. Yet I'm still buying games that I want to play. It's just taking me much longer to get around to them, let alone completing them. Okay. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I want to. I have to prioritize other things ahead of gaming right now. Why am I going to go to this AI? And let's just use Dragon's Dogma 2 as the example, a game that I am personally enjoying. I'm going to go to this AI and say, you know what? I'm short on gold. I need some gold. Why don't you go and kill some monsters for me and gain this gold for me because I don't have the time to do it myself. And while you're at it, go ahead and get some equipment, learn a new skill, and have all that stuff ready for me when I come back to the game. And let's say I'm not able to get back to that game for a month, month and a half. I come back to it and I've got all this awesome stuff. Now, the last time I played the game was when the Griffin was bullying me outside the beginning village. Now I've got all this new stuff. I don't have the muscle memory to be able to actually use it. I don't know what it does because I didn't put in the work and learn to execute the move or learn what these new items do. I'm still back at square one. I got more shit, but I gotta sort through that shit to figure out what it does because I have not been playing. This stuff it it
You would
makes
sit
no
there and actually
sense.
watch while the AI is playing for you, just like if you let another player take over for you as well. So.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. This is even dumb shittier. If I'm actually gonna sit and I'm gonna I have to watch the game play itself when I could pick up the damn controller and do it myself or utilize the YouTubes. When I have a problem, to the YouTubes. I'm an old man. My gaming time is limited. I have no problem with it, but I'm still playing the game. So now this is not something that goes on in the background when the console's off or in sleep mode. I have to actively have the game booted up, watching it, and that's how this is going to work. Oh Lord.
All right. Well, there's some other patents. So let's talk about the next patent. Okay.
God.
All right. This next patent is called haptic fingerprint of user's voice. So this patent wants to improve how haptic feedback works during gameplay. It argues that video games generate a lot of vocal audio that remains untouched by haptic feedback features. As a result, Sony wants to make use of all the vocal audio of players and in-game enemies to make the audio more integrated into the gameplay. So, to enhance the sensatory experience of voice, in some cases at a later time than the speech was spoken, to enable reliving emotions and experiences. Vocal sounds captured by a microphone are processed by a computer game controller API. The API plays back the vocal sounds at a later time in haptic format on the controller. So the vocal sounds may be computer game dialogue, party chat, or vocal sounds of the user as demanded by the computer game. So basically, it's a point that it will store vocal audio and play it later after the haptic feedback is added. So this is going to be adding haptic feedback to vocal audio that you would generate, like say if we're playing a game of Helldivers or something like that, that it might quote unquote add a extra layer of depth during gameplay. It may feel more immersive and let others understand the audio better during the chaos of hardcore gaming. So,
So now when I get called a nigga, I can feel that shit coming through my controller. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Sony. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
My controller can I feel the haptic feedback of every hard R that comes through.
The patent will also work with NPC dialogues and party chat. So
I mean, okay. I mean, innovation is innovation. So I guess we just got to see how it works, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just they're filing patents just to file patents. So okay.
I mean, I don't think
see it now. The Call of Duty bigoted bundle. Feel every racial slur that comes your way.
Yeah, I'm not sure I need. Yeah, I'm not sure that I need this. Per se.
How about this next patent? This next patent is called Effective Gaming System and Method. So what this does is it's going to introduce a system that analyzes the emotions of players by using a biometric system. The proposed tech would personalize the gameplay for each user depending on their current feelings. It may decrease difficulty for a player who complains while increasing it for another who finds it much easier until everyone has the intended or balanced experience. So, according to the patent,
where what we touch or
I don't know. Maybe this is a PS6 integration on the controller, but further on, the patents describe certain users of a multiplayer video game may experience the game in a manner different to what it was intended or different to that of other users also playing the game, which may lead to the user being dissatisfied with their game experience or even feel a sense of isolation thereby. So Sony uses an example of a horror game to explain the system. It may increase the health of players or help in another way to help them survive better. Similarly, another bunch of users not feeling the horror vibes may see a dramatic decrease in brightness, increased volume, or stronger enemies until they start to feel the creeps come in like the devs intended. So a certain user's avatar may have their health reduced or in-game sound effects may have their volume level increased, the screen brightness lowered, or the like in order so that a certain user's experience of the game resembles that of the other users or otherwise resembles that which was intended by the game's developers. So there's talking about this. The patent only explicitly considers multiplayer games, leaving single-player ones out in the dust. We could see the disparity in players' experience decrease as gameplay would adjust for each player accordingly. However, it's unclear how such a massive addition would affect the collective gameplay sessions of a lobby. So I guess this is not the first time Sony has patented an idea that changes gameplay based on a player's emotions. A similar notion was published that could detect when a player is in distress and save them from harassment by others. They also have secured a patent to let you decide how much an NPC talks to you in the game, offering you multiple options as well. So,
okay, out of everything that you have read, since you've been talking about these patents,
yes,
the very last thing that you just mentioned sounds like it could be a good idea. Everything else is just, if this is what gamers have come to in 2024 and beyond, because like you were saying, I can see a lot of these things being tried to implement in the PlayStation 6, where I gotta watch the gameplay, even though I got the game, I got the controller, the AI will come to my rescue because I'm feeling every hard R come through my haptic feedback. when I could just mute everybody in the room and be done with it and continue playing if I so choose. This isn't this is not what do you call that? I think you mentioned it just a couple of minutes, Des. When you're trying to make access, this isn't accessibility.
Yeah.
This is not accessibility. This is soft.
Oh,
Y'all, these patents are telling Sony must be getting some data, some type of feedback that is saying the modern day gamer is soft.
Well, maybe
soft in their skill, soft in their willingness to play a game, soft in their ability to interact with other people. Y'all cats is soft. So we got to come up with an AI that is just going to just tenderize y'all a little bit and rock you like grandmama because you can't deal with everyday shit that comes at you when you're playing a video game. I'm sorry. I've been drinking and maybe I'm just a little bit animated today, but this is the dumbest. If this is what they feel they need to do to keep the modern day gamer engaged, then the modern day gamer is in a pitiful state right now.
I was going to throw us on the side just on this. Is that maybe it's a point that maybe this is not for us. This is for grandmas and grandpas, like, people that don't normally play video games all that often.
So grandma and grandpa's going to buy a PS6?
Never know. It might
for
be like the Wii Sports
not maybe
kind
for
of
their
thing.
grandparents, but for themselves. They're going to be playing.
Well, let's say this like this, okay? If we're really gonna go there, let's talk about aging gamers. Joe said he is 52, and if his arthritis starts kicking in, he might need accessibility features if this 65-year-old gamer is gonna still want to play. So I could see parts of this why it's there, and I think that Sony is trying to be proactive in having patents that will allow them to maximize their profits if and when this stuff becomes normal. And I'm thinking, when Joe's saying like maybe this is not for us, as we move further into automation and people's time gets more and more busy, this might be something that people will look forward to in order to, play these games. I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I personally don't think it's necessary, for everybody, but damn, it's pretty crazy. Like it's crazy to me that we're at this part, but we're going there, but part of me can understand why, but it just seems like I never thought that we would be here, and I think that's the main thing that's kind of like blowing my mind is I never thought that we would be here, where we are talking about, game automation, and we're talking about, games, with all these different extra AI type stuff. So I do believe that it's pretty far in the future. Hopefully it's pretty far in the future. I don't think that we're going to have this like by tomorrow, but at the same time, it's like, damn, it is pretty crazy stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
Call it the bag program, bitch ass gamer.
There you go.
I mean, this is.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. So,
are you a bag? We have an AI program for you.
Well, all I know is my emotions need to be set going to be able to play a certain game. My
So-
my emotions need to be there.
Man.
Oh, the other patent they referenced was
No wonder
about
TikTok's taking over the world. My God.
NPC talk in video games. So they were talking about adding a patent basically to let you decide as far as how much dialogue NPCs in the game. So you're able to get a reduced you're able to skip you get a summary of what the character stated and whatnot. So
you get
it
the
says
cliff notes.
Cliff
Yeah.
notes, yeah. The game console would store different dialogue and voice complexity for each interaction, allowing players to select any with the tap of a controller button. The patent argues that non-English gaming speaking players can struggle in cutscenes with complex dialogues. Gamers with ADHD could also find it harder to concentrate on ongoing discussions since the length of each interaction can be quite long in modern AAA games. So
I can see the usefulness in that. I
Yeah.
can definitely see the usefulness in that. So, two things out of everything you mentioned has this usefulness.
it's just kind of funny to think that they are trying to think outside the box, but at the same time, they're trying to patent things to kind of basically put their stamp on, and so no
Yeah,
one else
they're
could
trying to
use
hedge their
too.
bets.
So yeah,
But the people that would actually benefit from these things ain't buying a console.
yeah,
That's not their jam. That's not what they're into.
yeah.
And you can say, well, grandma and grandpa, mom and dad bought it for the kid. And if they want to play the game with the kid, then they can play it and have all these AI helps and buffs and things. Let me tell you, mom and dad ain't playing this. If they buy it for the kid, they don't care. They don't care about any of this stuff.
It depends.
Nintendo struck lightning in a bottle with the Wii, definitely, where it's in retirement homes and schools, in kindergarten classes and all that stuff. That was lightning in a bottle with their motion controls. Then they tried to get y'all to buy cardboard and it flopped. So not everything that Nintendo does is a home run. But this, mm-mm.
I'm interested to see where it goes. That's for damn sure.
I'm thinking it's just going to be introduced in the OS of a PlayStation console and basically ignored like most of the other functions that they had. So.
Probably.
It must be a function, because if not, if I can't, if this stuff leaks into what I consider regular gameplay and I have no control out of it, I'm out.
No,
I am
it's
out.
just it's for a
100%.
feature for people that want it. So. And speaking of Nintendo, more Switch 2 rumors are coming around and about. So this kind of came through MobaPad, a Switch accessory manufacturer, has posted alleged details of Switch 2 on a Asian message board, basically. So this is the summary of what they posted on the page. So the Bluetooth chip of Switch 2 still supports existing Joy-Con and Pro controllers. So the Pro controllers are still supported and still features HD Rumble on there.
Ooh.
So the Switch 2 has backwards compatibility with Switch 1 cartridges, but Switch 2 cartridges will be differently shaped and won't fit into a Switch 1 on here. So the new Joy-Cons are larger and magnetically attached to the console with an electromagnet on here. So the SL and SR buttons are metallic now, and there's a new button behind each Joy-Con location where the button is, and a new button below where the home button is on the right Joy-Con. The dock still has a USB-C port and will also support 4K image output. There's going to be a new kickstand, which has a dampening bracket on the back for improved angle adjustment. And the screen is bigger, up to 8 inches, and the resolution has been upgraded to 1080p on the tablet itself. So So they made a mention of that also another source, which I think takes a source from this particular source on there, talking about the magnetic attachment versus using the rails of the current Switch right now. So what you guys overall think? I mean, you think with an 8-inch screen that they did comment too in these rumors that they said even though the Switch 2 is larger than the Switch 1 and the Switch OLED, that it is smaller than a Steam Deck. So
I think it's great that it's smaller than a Steam Deck. I think it's huge. So yeah, as long as it keeps its form factor and we get, high res, then I'm here for it. I want to see. I didn't remember if you said it or not. Are the games that it's going to be able to run, will they be upscaled or will it just be,
Nothing was stated about that as
Okay.
far as the newer games, if the older games will be upscaled or not,
Okay.
So
Yeah, again, this is all just rumors, right? Still.
yeah, it's just still rumors. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, currently, at least according to another rumor monger, saying that Nintendo is not scheduled to bring out details of the Switch 2 until around May, June, around Summer Games Fest time. I think it was rumored before that they were going to unveil the console like more around this time, around April to May. But they said that this recent Indie World that just showed a couple of weeks ago was meant to be shown in March. So they pushed things back a bit, I guess, from what was stated. So on there, but I'm still kind of interested to see where Switch 2 goes. I mean, it's if you already have rumors of hundreds of games being developed for the system now, and that it's similar to a PS4 or Xbox Series S as far as capabilities. So I mean, a lot of these companies are going to want to port, especially for the people that maybe just buy Nintendo consoles and just Nintendo consoles only. So
I'm here for it.
Yeah, the fact that it's going to output to 4K from the dock, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that. And I really hope that a lot of these are real.
I hope that Joy-Con does not have the
drift.
Feels more. Yeah, the drift is like that thing could have been. I've seen better quality stuff come out of something you get at a Happy Meal box. The way those Joy-Cons feel in hand, at least for me, and I don't feel like I have unusually large hands. It feels delicate and cheap, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna break it. The few times that I've held it while my nieces and nephew were over here and we were playing games once, I just felt like I couldn't get a good grip. That ergonomic feel that I get from a high quality controller is absent in those Joy-Cons. So hopefully with metal buttons, the build quality, maybe they use a higher quality plastic this time around. Hopefully to address some of that. I'm really hoping that it's a better overall controller.
I know from the current hubbub on the thread, at least on Resetera, which a lot of this information was posted, they're just hoping that the backwards compatibility is not just with the cartridges, also with the online marketplace, and that purchases on Switch Online will carry over as well. It has.
Well,
it has to.
It has to.
Yeah.
They're giving all people. Yeah, they can't just leave them out in the dirt. Like no.
Yeah,
but since those games, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know that Nintendo before with the Wii U and transitioning to the Switch, those purchases went out the door.
But those games are tied to your console, so you're going to have to buy the new console and then trade the old one back if you want to try and save a little money.
I'm thinking that they're going to have to be able to tie the games to your personal account versus the console. So we'll see what happens. So.
Or bring your Switch in and have GameStop employees do the transfer for you.
I don't think that's going to happen. No, they can't touch my. No, thank you. No, sorry.
I am relying on GameStop to do anything, so thank you, sir. I commented about my home GameStop. On my home GameStop, when I went over there, go pick up a game recently. The manager was asking me on the side as far as asking me for tips about applying for a federal job on this. So
That's
and
nice.
like, trying to help him out as far as what positions to apply for and stuff. He's getting out of Dodge because things are kind of looking dicey.
I don't blame him. Shit.
GameStop land. So talking about that, there was some managers fired like up the corporate ladder and promised severance, and they haven't seen a lick of severance, and it's been a minute, I guess. So, as long as the 1080p looks great on the screen itself, I am wanting to see if the 4K supports. Technically, right now, Switch and Switch OLED supports 4K, but it don't look 4K. I want at least some decent DLSS upscaling from the NVIDIA chip that's in the Switch too, so we'll have to see what it is and kind of go from there. So
yeah,
I'm kind of interested in how Nintendo's going to handle this transition, but backwards compatibility support sounds awesome, and then support for also Switch Pro controllers and whatnot. I'm just hoping for a new Pro controller with some added features as well. Did you ever figure out your Switch Pro controller issue, Des?
No, it's not. Well, it's not a Pro controller. It's a wired controller. It's not a Pro controller. So, but my Pro controller is perfect. It works fine. So,
well, the next story I want to talk about has to do with a game that we knew and loved, but kind of lapsed. Is going to be Destiny 2, and so why I want to talk about Destiny 2 again is that Bungie announced this week is that they're making some changes to how Legacy Gear works in the final shapes when it finally releases in June. And so one thing that was stated is that they are going to eliminate caps on all Legacy Gear power levels, making it easier for returning players to enjoy expansion content. And another thing that is a boon to this is that all that gear that we just work so hard to grab and get, that became like unused because of the fact that I think all of our vaults are full of stuff that we will never use again if need be, if we ever went back to it. And so they mentioned the fact that they are enabling all of the guns in the game from the beginning of Destiny 2 all the way to the latest expansion, and basically be able to move it to where there is no level cap on any particular items too. And they also changed too, if you happen to be playing with someone like with the party or whatnot, that the highest level gear granting higher levels of power, that power basically is you're going to be able to get leveled up. So based on the player with the highest level of power, it will actually level the entire party up to the same level as the highest power that you're playing with on that. So it's kind of cool, the fact that they just want to try to make this game accessible, and they're removing the prior decision to limit the power levels that Legacy Gear items can reach on that. You think this is going to work with bringing lapsed players back to the game, you guys? Do you think?
I think it might. I'm not going to go back. I don't need to go back. I think, hey, whatever they're going to do to try to, stick with the longevity of the game, great. But I think they really need to, count to 3. It's fine. We will be there with you when you do count to 3. But yeah, whatever you can do to extend the life of your property, I guess. So yeah, let's go.
According to the update, they said campaigns, story missions, free roam destinations, and Crucible will all be power disabled. Destiny 2 Vanguard playlist, Nightfalls, seasonal activities, exotic mission rotations, Trials of Osiris, raids, and dungeons will all be power enabled. So
yeah, that's gonna make people kind of mad.
Yeah, so and basically power disabled where a player's power shouldn't have an effect on the difficulty, but power enabled will have an effect on the player's maximum effectiveness against enemies. So listeners, let us know. I know if you're out there, if you've played Destiny 2 in the past, if the final shape was going to bring it back to the fold or not. I'll have to look to see what the cost is, and I've thought about going back to Destiny 2. It's like one of my favorite games ever, but I've always seemed lost every time I go back because it's like too much to catch up with story wise, and I don't even know what the whole gist is. So I'd be curious to see if people are talking good about the final shape. Maybe that's something that will bring me back to the game, but I'm gonna have to take a wait and see approach on this. So figured I mentioned it. So
I'm gonna need them to count to 3.
Yep.
Well, one game that's not counting to 3 just yet. River City Girls 2 has announced new DLC characters, so they are bringing out both Billy and Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon on there. So they are going to be downloadable characters and launch this summer on here. Also, they're going to have a free update on there. The free update will be made available to all River City Girls 2 owners. There's a new Double Dragon themed motion comic, 2 new shops, new accessories, and more on there. So also too, the Double Dragon downloadable content will have a new vocal song and a new dojo master to stand in for Billy and Jimmy while they're out busting heads. So
cool. I can't wait to hear the new song.
Does that song, does that game have a lot of crazy like vocal theme songs and whatnot, Kev?
Well, Mega Ran has he did the title track, and that's pretty dope. And I can't remember, I think she's in a girl band. She did the sound, just about all the pieces for the first game soundtrack, and she's back, and she's got some really good pieces in River City Girls 2. I can't remember the names of her particular pieces, but she has a talent for writing music to set the mood for a given environment. And cool. I picked that up from the first game, and she's continued to hone her craft and applied it to the songs that she was responsible for in River City Girls 2. It's really good. It's really good.
And last but not least for news this week, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink has some updates. So they just dropped an update 2 days ago, version 1.2.1 on here, and they have some new quests, a couple of new characters on here. So Theophon and Twien on here, and then they added more, missions if need be, some up to 30 sigil transmutations can be now simultaneously executed at one time on there. They did some changes to the battle system as well, and they are going to drop another update next month as well that will have some more content and a couple of new characters as well. So kind of want to try to get back to Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I did give it a fair shake at the beginning, but got sidetracked with other stuff. So
lots of stuff out there to get sidetracked with. So
I don't know if any of you guys are thinking about going back to Grand Blue Fantasy Relink at all. I know probably out of all of us, like John BT probably played it more than.
I need to go back. I want to go back. I actually watched the live stream. I think it came through at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning from the developers, and Twien has she's the archer, and her ranged attacks are just ridiculous. And the thing that's Safon's move set, although powerful, the thing that makes him a really good character is that he has buffs that apply to the entire party that are part of his combat set. So as he continues to build meter, his buffs will he will buff the party that's with him, which is crazy. So everybody's doing more damage, which is pretty dope.
Everybody's kung fu fighting show.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, their moves were fast as lightning.
Oh no!
It's also fast. Yeah, somewhat frightening. This news episode is done, gentlemen. So that's Jabroni Gaming News for 245.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Jabroni Chief. And we're moving into our game night information. Every Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. That's the day of the week that we set aside to interact with our growing Gaming Vessels family over on Discord. So if you have a game that you'd like to play with us, just mention in our Discord channel for game night. And if we don't have it, we'll get it and we will play with you. And because Thursday is just the day of the week that we set aside to just catch up with people who are interacting with us on our Discord server and just kind of chew the fat, just see how everybody's going and just kind of enjoy this hobby that we call this hobby of video games that we love so much. So if any of that sounds fun, all you have to do is head over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X. Head over to @GamingVessels, GAMINGVESSELS. Click the link in the bio and you're in. There is no merch to buy, no Patreon tier list to subscribe to. All that we ask is that you just be someone who loves talking about and playing games and can do without the nonsense of personal attacks that often comes when discussing any subject matter on much larger social media platforms. So if any of that sounds good to you, I think you will find a pleasant home on the Gaming Vessels Discord server. So we're going to move on to the kudos section. Big thank yous to Goonie, John BT, generals in the Gaming Vessels Army. Definitely want to give you a shout out for adding even more discussion to episode 245 this week. Thank you guys. Yeah, I love the interaction that you provide for us on the show, and I really enjoy seeing you two interact and write things up on our Discord. Big thank you because you're helping to keep the community engaged in different things, and definitely want to shout you guys out for the efforts that you put in. There's a lot of other things you could be doing, a lot of other places you could be, a lot of other things that you could be doing. But we want to appreciate the time that you put in hanging out in our Discord service. It's much appreciated.
Yeah. Kudos to Will D too for suggesting the patent news story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise,
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that is going to bring episode 245 to a close. I want to thank y'all for chilling out with us and hanging out and listening to the show. So for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the high-res lover/hater.
That's me.
a.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that gamer stepdaddy. And for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I'm Show Enough 71, a.k.a. Digga Dulamite.
That purple bling bling, y'all.
And we'll be back next time, episode 246 for your ears. Peace.